with Peter Pan Episode 6, The Fly. Episode 5 was incredibly stupid. It also just happens to be the best episode of the season so far, mainly because it was entertaining at how completely idiotic these people were. So with some forward momentum now on Alien Earth's side, we can close out the final 3 chapters with some real bangers, right? No, because we're back with Wendy and the stupid Lost Boys. Let's talk about Episode 6, The Fly, in a spoiler recap video. Right now. While I talk about this show with seemingly no end in sight, if you find yourself enjoying, being captivated by the material here, feel free to sub to the show. Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I'm looking off camera to my assistant Sheila, and she's giving me the thumbs up that this show still is free. What an amazing deal here. Just free of charge. All you have to do is hit subscribe. Thanks, Sheila. Show yourself out. You're fired. Okay, let's get into it. We open this chapter with a small excerpt from, you guessed it, Peter Pan. Because let's be honest, this is Pan's world. We're just living in it. And this is once more narrated by Boy Cavalier. Wendy is James Bonding with her baby Xenomorph while Timothy Olibot and her brother Joe Hermit look on in amazement. Joe Hermit, as an aside, continues to grow into the biggest bitch known to man. It's quite a truly impressive achievement. Female Ron Weasley gets a CAT scan to see whether or not she's pregnant. A child in a grown adult body getting a CAT scan to see if she's pregnant. This is cinema, folks. Turns out she's not. She's just an idiot. Maybe a tad confused. Little bit of trauma rolling around up in that CPU. They call them bugs. I call it a feature. But in either case, Baldy McGee wants to shut it off. He wants the scientists to reboot the system, remove some of the previous events from her memory, hoping to clear up the clogs in the wheels, and slightly tweak the personality a bit. Female British doctor and her husband are not happy about this outcome, and they take a stand because they have ethics and morals, damn it! Well, the husband takes a stand. I believe his name is Arthur. So his ass is grass, mister. He gets his walking papers. They give him the boot. He's fired. Hasta la vista, baby. Sayonara. Get the fuck out! You know, and I don't want to beat a dead homeless man, as the expression goes, but maybe, just maybe, putting the minds, the souls, whatever they did, of little children into the bodies of grown-ass adult synthetics was an ill-conceived plan. I digress. Arthur has to pack up his stuff and leave. Jesus, it's going to be rough out there for him to find another job, specifically in such a targeted, highly specialized field, such as child-to-adult body transitioning specialist. I mean, most of these jobs are being taken over by AI. Joe Simpet longingly looks at his sister before telling her the great news that he has a plan to get them out of this place. And this dude is inching closer and closer to his sis's face. Just pull the trigger and kiss her already. Boy Cavalier has a big kid meeting with Wayland Yutani. He shows his dominance here by plopping his feet onto the conference table and spreading eagle. And now, unfortunately, this is the only way I can achieve climax. Cavalier, now switching the positions for you, Ariana Grande style, is sitting crisscross applesauce. He's in your classic alpha male dominant negotiation form. They do this whole Pawn Stars thing, going back and forth negotiating price points because she knows he has her alien specimens and she wants to buy them back from him. So he wants 20 billion, then she offers 15, he goes up to 25. It's this back and forth song and dance, and he's pulling out all the Rick cards. You know, I got a team of people, I got to frame them first, I'm taking all the risk here. I have the holy grail of alien specimens, lady. The guy's good. They did end up going with the $20 billion, but I have a feeling he's going to take his sweet-ass time boxing those things up and shipping them out. Good thing Morrow's there to speed up the process. Via chaos. He proposes making a mess of things over at Boy Cavalier's company, Prodigy, forcing them to turn over the specimens sooner than later, or something. I'm not really sure what his plan is at this point, but the camera's gonna linger on Boss Lady's reaction, which is essentially nothing, for what felt like 45 minutes straight. Why are we sitting on this shot for so long? Does Hulu have a runtime quota they need to hit and they didn't have enough footage, so they're like, let's just really soak in this lack of response from this lady right here. Really take it in. In the elevator, Timothy Olibot and Morrow have a robot dick measuring contest. Okay, this is what we've been waiting for. Black and white, fight night. The greatest gladiator matchup in the history of the world. Simp versus Cyborg. Day versus Night. Simp of Yutani versus Boy of Prodigy. No, they just exchange some salty words and then they're on their way. In front of a mirror, Red Rewritten Hood is having some confusion about the recent events that have taken place. The confusion? She doesn't remember shit. I'm looking at the red in the mirror. Who? I'm asking to remember some shit. How? She has completely forgotten everything that's taken place recently, including her fake baby. Ladies and germs, we have more Neverland story time. Yeah! This episode just keeps on keeping on. We have another passage from the book of Peter Pan. Who gives a crap about alien Earth? I am absolutely hooked on this Peter Pan novel. Now inside the Rainforest Cafe, Smee and Slightly have a bonding moment. It was at this point that I paused the episode to see that I was 25 minutes into it. 25 minutes wasted on adult actors pretending to be kids, pretending to be adults. What is my life? Slightly, now working his boyish charms, attempts to convince her mighty Joe to go with him on a secret adventure. I think Hermit was about to fold, but he gets interrupted to go on a patrol with his team. Damn it, I was really hoping we'd have a face hugger killing Joe at this point, but let's press on. The Poncho Rangers are on island patrol. Joe not so subtly tries to get the team to leave the island, but they're not having it. They have a good gig here. Great pay, great hours, and all the Rainforest Cafe food they can eat. Wendy's now back with her bestie, looks to be a teenage xenomorph. Putting those years of Duolingo training to good use, she strikes up a conversation with her friend. It's mostly just clicks and chirps, and if I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like she's making it up. And believe me, I can spot when a woman's faking it. Sheila, cut that last line out in editing, please. That's right, I fired her. It's supper time. One of the Lost Boys goes around feeding the different alien critters their meals. And that sheep is keeping a close eyeball squid on everything going on. As an aside, what the fuck is going on with all of these eyeball squid shots? Every episode, we have several shots of the eyeball squid just like enhancing and looking around and really taking stock of his environment. But he never does anything with the information. They keep presenting it like it's some like super genius calculating every chess move ahead of time, but it's not doing anything. In fact, the most it did was in the last episode when it body slammed into its crate and smashed it on the ground. That wasn't because of observation though. He didn't learn anything by like zooming in on people. He just did that. Anyway, Toodles, a little too strong for his britches, rips one of the feeding compartments out, and now he has to do what every dumb 13-year-old boy does, which is wedge open the door and hold it with your foot while you set a tray of food down. I sure wish this, checks notes, trillion-dollar company had more than one asshole feeding these creatures. Where is the security? Where is the monitoring? What is this? If I messed up and his name isn't actually Toodles, well, it might as well be now, because he's about to die. This imbecile decides, in his infinite wisdom, to hold the door with a foot, go all the way inside of the room with an alien bug nest in the corner, instead of just like chucking the fucking tray in through a tiny little crack in the door. Like, this is all he had to do. Like, do you think the bug cares that it's presented on a nice little tray? Also, what was the plan to get the food out afterwards, dipshit? They put children in adult bodies. Not that it makes a difference on this show. Even the adults are dumb as fuck most of the time. As predicted, a giant mosquito sack thing flies onto his arm and then starts vomiting acid on the guy's face, bodying him pretty quickly. The face boils and starts melting away, and a couple of the bug sack mosquito creatures start harvesting whatever they can get out of synthetic. It looks like he bleeds sperm, so yes, they're cum guzzlers. Wendy is now in a very heated conversation with British doctor lady. She's been putting the pieces together. Wendy wants to go by her real name, Marcy. She also doesn't appreciate that these aliens were ripped from their homes and are being studied, much like these lost boys are. They're just pawns in a game of corporate greed. Marcy's starting to understand now. She's becoming the one. Joe Hermit the Frog walks in on Arthur packing up his shit. He hasn't left yet. Joe asks if his sister Marcy is safe staying on the island. I'm pretty sure he knows the answer to that, but he needs to hear it from someone else. Arthur, not so subtly, looks over his shoulder at a camera and makes sure to covertly tell Joe that his sister is in fact in danger. Because, of course, there's only one camera in, checks notes once more, $1 trillion company's lab! He starts typing messages on the computer to him. Joe, your sister's boned. Get the F out. Here's a code to the boat. I will deactivate the tracking chips on the children. Beep. I'm not gonna lie, that boat code was not very long, but I absolutely would have forgot it 3 seconds after leaving that room. While deactivating the tracker, Arthur makes a major discovery. Toodles is offline. This company is monitoring these guys 24/7. There's cameras inside of the synths' bodies. How do they not know Toodles dies instantly? They don't have a life alert on these things. There isn't a computer system that has their vitals just going all the time. And when one goes down, it's like bleep, bleep, bleep. No, apparently not. Apparently that technology doesn't exist, or they can't afford it in this checks notes $1 trillion company. Arthur proving no matter what age you are, you can be still just as fucking dumb as the next one. Shot out of a cannon, he runs into the room where his buddy Toodles was killed, and he's like, "No, Toodles! Oh, Toodles! Why did you die, Toodles?" Toodles was a character in the Mickey Mouse Club. Remember that. I guess it's Toodles with a D, not a T, but we're splitting cocks here. Anyway, Arthur is, he's boned. Because Slightly takes this opportunity to do what Morrow wanted. He gave him a fresh human for the grinder, and clip beep, he locks Arthur in the room with the alien specimens, more specifically, a face hugger from another mother, and that fucker launches onto him faster than a beaver on wood. Suctions to his face, giving Morrow exactly what he needs to give back to Yutani. Perfect xenomorph specimen in the making. Slightly grabs Arthur's body, dragging him into the largest air vent ever. But he should have been more careful because Sheep Eyeball Squid is monitoring everything. And as we know from past episodes, that means nothing. We end this episode of Alien Earth, as we end all episodes, with another pointless rock song. 4 seconds before the credits hit, it's Godsmack's masterpiece, Keep Away. Does Disney own a massive collection of late 90s, early 2000s rock music, and they're just flexing with, why am I asking this? Of course Disney does. Disney owns everything. Well, there you have it. Another feather in our Peter Pan cap. With only 2 episodes left, there is no telling where this show's gonna go. Will female Ron Weasley remember her imaginary baby and then try to abort it? Will Joe and Marcy ever get to finish that Ice Age saga? Will Boy Cavalier finally grow a spine and open that damn OnlyFans account for foot fetishes that he clearly has wanted to do? Only time will tell. And when that time comes, I'll be there to tell you. But in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind subbing to Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, I do a lot more than recrap these Alien Earth episodes. I have movie reviews, live streams, rants, all movie related, all the time. Well, with an occasional TV show adjacent to a film franchise thrown in the mix. Please leave a comment, let me know your thoughts about this episode, where you stand on this series so far, and hopefully, I see you next time. I'm talking to the Xeno in the mirror. If you appreciate my content, I am a one-man band. This is a ton of work, and you want a way to give back. Head on over to patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. There's tons of exclusive perks over there. Look at these awesome supporters so far. There's some of the best people on this planet, and you could be one of them. You could be right there alongside, and I would appreciate it.